the Planetary Annihilation Competitions and Esports Community Hangout. I am Oath Alliance. Sadly, Gandalf is probably sleeping somewhere. At the moment, he is up till like 5 in the morning. He's in the same time zone as me, so I don't know when he will get up or when he will get on. For those of you watching and are seeing some weird XSplit thing, I do not have a camera installed, so you'll just have to accept that I don't have anything for you to look at. This will mainly be listening to. Anyways, we do have some documents here which I will be sharing later on. So if you want to read them, you can go ahead and see those later after this is done. And for questions, there should be an option there that says QA, and that's so that you can ask questions. Hopefully I'll answer all of them. But this should go pretty easily and pretty quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you an overview of how we started, sort of how we got to where we are now, what we're wanting to go with doing, and just go ahead and explain some things because there have been some questions and some misunderstandings. So this is sort of just to help everyone out with it. So pretty much how we started was that we wanted to, in the last few tournaments, mainly Ronkat's Dogge tournament and Gandalf's Army of Two tournament that he hosted, we wanted to go ahead and get something going, mainly us casters. We wanted to get something to foster competitive esports because tournaments were fun, but we wanted structure behind it, something that we could give it sort of a link to everything and give us a groundwork to move off of and actually create Planetary Annihilation into an esports competitive scene, something that would rival League of Legends, StarCraft 2. Maybe not as big, but definitely something run by the community that could be Planetary Annihilations. So that was mainly something that was just hidden from scene for most people. It was just something that just a few of us casters were tossing back and forth. Well, finally, after the Army of Two tournament, Gandalf finally went ahead and actually put out what we've been thinking all this time, was that we wanted to have some sort of system for that. So what we wanted to do was go ahead and start making some sort of competitive esports, and it mainly came down to a conversation between Gandalf, myself, Oath Alliance, Roncat, and Brian Perkis. It started out okay, but we did put the cart before the horse, which was probably our biggest mistake, because we started accepting members before we ever actually had any of the groundwork. So the thing most people would expect, some basic rules, some sort of hierarchy so that we organize ourselves correctly and it's not just jumbled mess, things like that. Those were not in place at all. We didn't even have a hierarchy. We just had an idea and we were running with it, which was probably one of our biggest mistakes. And that's sort of at least how we got started with this. Anyways, but how we've gotten here at least is when it came down to things like hierarchy and stuff like that, we had to come up with ideas of how we were going to do things because we couldn't just be a bunch of people doing anything. So it really came down to, for the most part, Brian, myself, and Gandalf, because we are at least were keeping in constant contact, discussing things, and we had a pretty good idea that we could count on each other to actually be there and have discussions and get together. So we started to put some things together, try to get some basic things going on, but we couldn't just throw it out to everyone because if we tried to give it to everyone, it would take a long time, and the ways that can just get screwed up are very high. So that's pretty much how we got to where we are now. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just give a little bit of background on why we made the decisions we did. And then don't forget that you can ask your questions with the Q&A thing, and if you're still seeing the XSplit thing, that's normal. I don't have a camera and apparently Google Plus only wants to get my face on a live feed or something. So ignore that. This is mainly just auditory stuff. Anyways, when it came down to hierarchy, which was really the first thing we needed to get nailed down, um, it wasn't really easy to just. I mean, some people were giving out all sorts of different ideas, but no one was really stepping up when it came down to it. We had people saying, well, we could make it Gandalf the person in charge of everything. We could vote for people and have elections, or we could go ahead and do departments. Well, what it really came down to is putting everything on Gandalf's shoulders would be kind of unfair because he would have to be in control of everything, and that would be a lot of responsibility, at least on him. And also the fact that putting power in all in one place can really lead to some bad stuff, just things that we wouldn't want to have happen. Seeing multiple different like clans and guilds go down because one person was in charge, something happened, they left for a while, something like that, and just things broke down. So we didn't want to do that. We also did doing elections, however, causes a problem with the fact that first of all it's a popularity vote, which is never a good thing because all you need to do is just be a little bit. You couldn't have someone who is actually good put in a place because let's say there's someone terrible that everyone likes because he's funny or whatever, then he could get in, have no idea what he's doing, and just skip town or whatever. And we also didn't want to spend time that we could be putting into the organization towards things like people going for elections. So we didn't want to waste that time that we could have doing all sorts of other things with just wasting time with elections. So it really came down to departments. And uh, that's where sort of me, Brian, and Gandalf came into purview because Brian's our expert, at least within us people who started this, expert with websites. I'm out of the people who started it, the expert with casting, and Gandalf is our more or less quote unquote expert director for it, for the things like tournaments. So that's really where we got that whole hierarchy structure going on. And to be honest, right now we do need a very concise leadership, but we've all been talking about this, and we would like more people to step up. So far, no one. Some people have stepped up and done a few things, but when it really has come down to it, no one's really taken a lot of the brunt of the work. And so that's one thing we'd really like to see is, with the community stepping up to help us because we're members of the community, but we also have jobs and things like that. Gandalf has a job, Brian has a job. I do not have a job currently, but I have pretty much made this my full-time job. I've been working on this more than I would say either of the other two, just for the fact that I've been doing a dozen different things within the organization. So we'd really like people to go ahead and step up and to get this more of a self-managing community, because that takes a lot of work off our shoulders. But anyways, at this moment at least, we do have that concise leadership, which we'll probably keep, but we'll definitely open up to the floor a lot more with things like this Google Hangout, things like that, where the community gets to interact and has a voice. But we are going to pretty much run this like Uber is building their game. You take feedback from the community, but you don't build it according to their whims and wills because people split easily on things. One day they're arguing about one thing, next day they're arguing about a different thing. Maybe they're both opposite things. Air is too weak, air is too powerful. So, but for now, at least, we're just keeping that concise leadership. Hopefully after this tournament, we can open it up a lot more. But we do want it to become self-sustaining. And the second thing that's probably the most important thing that I think is going on, at least the biggest bone of contention that has been with the community is the website. And some people may not know what I'm talking about or what's going on, but at least right at this moment, uh, with the website, we have it on PA matches. And I've got a list here that Brian wrote up. He's not joining us for various different reasons, but I've got a um, document here that pretty much has all the reasons why. I'm just going to spend a few minutes going through them, and then I've got a little bit more to say on that. But he volunteered his website um, even before we had formed Pace. He said, "Hey guys, I've been wanting to go this way the entire time. I would love to get together and get this all going on my website." So when it came down to it, we went with him because he had a website with a large backend. He is already, in the know, and he was dedicated like me and Gandalf. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip over to this document, and like I said, all documents that I'm using here will be open for viewing afterwards. I will put this on the same thread. So this is his list. He has given me permission to speak on his behalf in regards to this. So just going to read this and go over a few things. So just going to now quote from it. This is by far a complete list. First off, this was by no means an executive decision by myself, Brian. That is true. Me and Gandalf did, in fact, go ahead and say, yeah, if you've got the website and you want to do it, forge on ahead. And Ron Cat was in on that decision as well. At least partially, he did know it was going on and didn't voice any objection to it at the time. I made my site available and provide an overview of the benefits. To quote Oath Alliance, we need PA matches more than PA matches needs us. I, Brian, do not need pace for a traffic boost. I shall still be creating tournament result posts and the like on PA matches, and that will generate traffic. Having pace on PA matches is all about granting exposure to pace and helping it become an excellent organization for planetary annihilation tournaments. And that's sort of his opening. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go through more of what he's got here. If the community decides that they don't want pace on PA matches for one reason or another, so be it. It's a community-led organization, and I can't stop it. I just believe it to be a mistake. PA matches' biggest asset for for pace is traffic. PA Matches has over 10,000 unique visitors a month, many of which are new visitors. This means Pace will have exposure to many PA players that are not active on the forums, which is very much needed if Pace is to succeed. Some people said, just link to the Pace website and that will be the same. It's actually not the same. It's far from the same. It is statistically proven fact that when web users go from one site to the next, they're likely to close the new site and not click deeper. By keeping pace within PA matches rather than on an external site, the visitor engagement will be higher. PA Matches is a trusted name in the PA community. Sending people to a website they've never been to is another barrier that must be overcome. People are less likely to give their email address to a website they've never been to. Which brings up a good point. I have the email addresses of close to 100 people that are specifically interested in PA tournaments. This is a different newsletter than the PA Matches weekly newsletter, which has quite a few more subscribers. They are not something I can then share/give to Pace, as I have promised my subscribers that I will never share their email addresses. I also have a handful of social followers on Facebook and Twitter, which is additional increased exposure for all PACE activities. The upcoming tournament and the latest tournament's results will be promoted in the sidebar, granting lots of exposure to upcoming tournaments and views to casters of previous tournaments. PACE will have a dedicated section on the PA Matches site where PA Matches branding is removed so the focus is on PACE. Again, this is trying to promote PACE as much as possible. PACE tournament matches will be completely integrated into the current match listings. This allows players to browse casts by certain casters, matches by certain players, etc. It also increased the publicly previous tournament matches, which continues to promote upcoming matches, as there will be a large button promoting pace and encouraging players to get involved. PA Matches ranks very high in the search engines. If I were to get a lot of my, it's where I get a lot of my traffic. It's something I am very good at, and it shows. If you Google Planetary Annihilation tournaments, PA Matches is the first two results. It's free labor. I work daily to improve and grow PA Matches, which will make pace grow alongside it. So that's all of Brian's list here. So I know that some members of the community think it's for various different reasons, that it's backroom deals and stuff like that. So now knowing why we chose it, all of the assets, and this is a complete list as I said before. So knowing all of this, if the community, because we are in service of the community over Uber or ourselves or anything. So if the community does want there to be a dedicated website for Planetary Annihilation Competition Esports, then you guys will have to build it. And you guys have to get together, make a plan, and build a website that rivals, if not beats, this, at least in most of these. I can't, of course, it will take time to get on the search engines and things like that, obviously, but it definitely has to be something we have to have people to go ahead and advertise it on Steam, on Reddit, on Facebook, on Twitter, on all different social media aspects. And also to go ahead and build us a website where people can not only find tournaments, get involved, look at the casters, look at the casts, look at the tournaments, look at all of the information we have available. So if you guys want us to move the PACE website to a dedicated website, build us a website. And Brian is willing to go with that. He thinks it's a mistake. So the entire point is you guys will have to build something better so that when he passes the torch over and Pace goes over onto that website, then it will be something he's not going to be, this is a big mistake you're making, it's all going to go downhill, it's going to crash and burn. So, and he will still be our website guy, and he's said, if the community works on building a website, then he will be involved in it. He's not just going to stop being involved in any way, shape, or form. But it's going to be less involvement than his dedicated time and everything that he's put into his website. So if you guys want us to go to a different website, you build us that website. Until then, we're staying with PA Matches because it's pretty much the only place that we have any real security in. So that's my challenge, at least to you. So don't want to hear any complaints about, oh, it's on PA Matches, that's unfair, backroom deals. Build us that site if you want us to be on a dedicated site, because eventually we will need a dedicated site. And because it's becoming a bone of contention, it'll probably need to be sooner. But definitely go for it. If you want to build it, build it. Build it big. Build it better. Build it more awesome than PA Matches, and we will hop over to it, and we'll make this the biggest thing ever. Because I have no doubt that the community can do it, and I hope you guys have no doubt that you guys can do it. So get everyone together, get PA stats integrated into it. Get all of the tournaments and everything integrated into it. Get it fully functioning and optimized and everything. Let's do it. So definitely get together, have a conversation, send me or Brian or Gandalf a message so that we can see what your guys' plans are, so we can say, well, is this something we'll need or not? We don't need cup holders or anything like that on a website. So, but definitely get involved. And if you just contact us and say, hey, I want to help out with this, then go ahead and do it. I suggest contacting Gandalf, myself, and Brian, because all of us are on at different times. I'm usually online and can be reached easily. So go ahead and do that. And we can definitely see about getting you involved with creating a website or whatever. But you guys have to build it if we're going to move. Because right now we have nowhere else to truly go other than Captain Conundrum's partially done website So if you make that website into something really freaking amazing and we get a branding and a logo and everything, we will hop over there like no tomorrow. So moving on, um, just a quick overview of my department, of the entire casting department. I don't have anything actually written down for this other than the casting page with all the information on it specifically. But at this moment, we've got quite a few casters, which I'm actually really, really, really happy to see. Let me actually take a quick look how many casters we've got signed up for this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 casters signed up for this tournament, which is actually really exciting because that's a heck of a lot of casters. I mean, we've got pretty much, at this moment, there's going to be about 28 games at least. Yeah, 28 games at this moment. So we definitely need a lot of casters. And what I'm doing at this moment is we've sort of reshuffled things just with how they're going to go. But what I have been doing is when people have contacted me, I've just asked, send me a video and I'll score it. And the scoring is for various reasons. One, which is on hold at the moment, is whether your level of casting, and that was based upon a easy score. And then for being able to say, we're certifying you or not, because we don't want someone who's absolutely terrible getting in and casting videos when they may, first of all, just be making fun of people or be terrible at it. We just want some sort of quality control there. And then also the third part was just to give the casters some feedback on what they can do better. And for the most part, we've had really quite a few quality casters actually come through, and the response has been quite positive with those reviews that I've been giving out, just because it's helped quite a bit with people just getting an idea of what they need to be doing and just some things we're looking for. So far, no one has failed being casted, and things will be pretty simple with that. But if you do want to get involved, definitely contact me on the Uber forums. I just need your email to add you to our Google Documents, and also I need to go ahead and get a video of you casting, an actual game, not personal, not a POV video where you're playing, but actually one of you watching others play and casting it at the same time, and so that I can get a feel with how you are and things like that, and make suggestions. And pretty much certifications, for the most part, last the entire season. So it's not too hard to get certified and to stay certified unless, you become really dumpy or we get complaints or something. But that's pretty much the basics on what's going on with the casting department. So if you do want to cast or try out or whatever, definitely go ahead and give it a try. Just send me that. If you want to officiate, we only have 4 officiators at the moment that are actually dedicated to officiating. And we definitely need more. They aren't the same as casters. Casters do have the knowledge of officiators. They will have access to the same resources, but they are primarily about being in the game and casting. Officiators will primarily be not in games and casting. You don't have to live cast for casting at this time, just because we know that some people may not have a good enough connection or things like that, and that may create some hurdles that they can't jump over. But pretty much at this moment, if you just go ahead and do that, then should be good there. So that pretty much leads us to where we're going. So on the forums, I know that some people have been wanting to see about Uber advertising the game with regards to getting word out and things like that. And I'd actually like to go ahead and flip over to something else, to another game, which actually has been doing a lot of the same, a lot of what we could be doing with Uber. It's Star Citizen. You may or may not have heard of it, but they have spent no money on advertising. It has simply been community advertisements. And that's one of the things that we here at Pace want to do. We do have plans to get sponsors to talk to the video game news sites and get them over here, because what we're doing, as far as I know, is quite revolutionary. I mean, the game's not even out yet, and we're making an esport without the help of Uber, without the help of big corporations or what have you. We are building this. So our future for this is definitely to have leagues, to expand, to become something big, but also to advertise Planetary Annihilation without Uber having to spend a penny. And that's really what one of the things that I want to do, is because free advertisement all over the place, and the more that the community helps spread the word about Pace, the more word gets out about Planetary Annihilation, and that helps Uber get more. And we've got to show the world that this game is amazing, and it really comes down to us. And when it comes down to openness within our organization, going to try to do more things like this Google Hangout, probably more refined. This was sort of thrown together yesterday in we really need to have a discussion with the community. So pretty much we're going to go ahead and see about being more open. If you are a caster or officiator, after the game tomorrow, we will be having a feedback time just to go ahead and go over what we think went right, what we think went wrong, and get some feedback on what we can do better and things like that. And so those feedback sessions will be available for everyone at least involved with PACE. So pretty much for the time, we're going to try to open things up. We've pretty much gotten some sort of foundation going right now. So after this tournament, which is really our big hurdle to get over, then we should be at least in a place where we can go ahead and start moving forwards in expanding the organization and getting away from us, me, Gandalf, and Brian talking on TeamSpeak trying to figure out things. But definitely let us know. I know some people have contacted Gandalf, but go ahead and let me know as well, because I do want to hear feedback, as long as it's civil and it's not insulting. And please don't jump to conclusions, because those cause a heck of a lot of problems, and it's no fun for anyone. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly jump to questions. Remember, you can submit your questions through the QA thing on the upper right hand corner, actually. And I will go ahead and start off with that. Go ahead and submit them if you think that you've got one. And actually, let me just check the forums really quick. See if anyone has left anything there. Nope. Alright, so taking questions here. Alright, so first question, it looks like our only question at this time, is what are the things that do need to happen? So in regards to what needs to happen is, first of all, we need people to get together and get a website going, if that's what people want, a dedicated website. So it needs to be the community getting together with Brian, myself with Alliance, and Gandalf, so that we know where you're going and we can help direct you where we would like to steer this entire ship, so it's not just, well, what if we add pink elephants and ponies and stuff? So we've got everyone working together on the same page. So website, if we want a dedicated website, that's going to be something that needs to happen. Definitely volunteering to be a caster or an officiator. We definitely need more officiators. I mean, there's 8 casters right now, and they can take care of 8 games. But then there's still, if we get 64 people, there's 32 games in all. 8 casters doesn't really shift a lot away when you only have half of the people being officiators. So 4 officiators, they're going to be swamped. So definitely volunteer your time being an officiator. Give us good feedback, suggestions, really. The main problem is a lot of people say, I think you're doing things wrong, but they never give actual suggestions on what you can do. They never volunteer themselves, anything like that. which can cause a lot of problems. Uh, Donate money. We need sponsors for tournaments, things like that. That's one of the things that we need. Eventually, we plan on actually having sponsorships from companies, but for now, we don't have that. So we definitely need the community helping to sponsor these tournaments. Um, so those are really the three things. Volunteering to help out with doing things with casting or the website or officiating, those one of those three departments, and we'll probably come up with more departments as we go on. Um, Advertising. Advertising is definitely a needed thing. Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, uh, Steam, all of those places on the forums, things like that. Get going, get the word out, get talking about it. We need the help with all of those. Um, because definitely we can't do it all on our own. We've dedicated a heck of a lot of time, but we can't do it all on our own. So for the most part, those are really the places we need help doing things. And if you just get in contact with, like I said, Gandalf, me, or Brian, we can go ahead and get you connected. Really, when it comes down to it, I'm probably your best bet just because I stay online pretty much the entire day. So just send me a PM or something, or send us all three a PM in a conversation on the forums, and we can definitely see about getting you involved, finding a place for you. But yeah, just even people just saying, hey, I've got, during the week I've got 2 or 3 hours, I'm not doing anything. What can I do? And we can find a place for you. So those are really what we need is just people volunteering their time because it's been a lot on my shoulders and Gandalf's and Brian's. Um, I'm going to give just a few more minutes for any other questions. QA thing up in the upper right hand corner should be there or to the side or something. I'm not exactly sure what you're all looking at. But any more questions? And if not, I'm going to go ahead and end this and then see about putting up on the forums. All right. Looks like we've gotten everything done here. So I'm going to go ahead and end this so we can get this up on the forums. Definitely spread the word about PACE because we do need the help. And get involved. Um, ah. All right, so get involved, get things together, help us out. We need you. We can't run this alone. This is a community thing. And let us make this and Planter Annihilation the biggest and best things we can ever. I just want to thank you for coming here, and hopefully we will see you tomorrow for the tournament. Until then, I'm Oath Alliance for Pace and Gandalf and Brian, and you all have a good day / night / wherever you are.